are live. It says live, but I still have the whole "you're now live." Hello, everybody. Um, guess what song that is? Can you come on? Let me hear it. Let me hear it. It's the Eye of the Tiger. Eye of the Tiger. Woo! Thought I told you that we won't stop. And that's what today's about. Actually, hold on. Technical difficulties. So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about, I started it over. It's in the background. Didn't mean to do that. But I want to talk about tenacity. I want to talk about what this industry is, what this business is, right? For all of our thriving people, our people that are aspiring, all of our people, buyers, agents, lenders alike. This is not easy. This is not something that is, that just can come naturally. We are in a market where it is definitely different, right? And we have been in a different market, a unique market, a powerful market for a while now. But it is not something that is definitely easy by any means. And it's going to be something that you have to be tenacious with, right? And so I kind of want to talk about that a little bit because these past 2 weeks have definitely been like there is a full moon outside during the day. And I have talked to several people where it is the same. And sometimes it's easy to have these conversations or do these lives to tell you about all the brilliant things that we can do. Like for instance, today I'm closing a gentleman with a 476 credit score. And I am super excited because he fell on some hard times that were outside of his control. And he has taken the ability and the power back into his hands to put things in a right spot, and we're able to help him get him there. And so those are wonderful things to share, the things that we can do, because not a lot of people can do them. But it's not always the wins or the wonderful things that we can do that we share. Sometimes we need to share the nit and gritty things that we have done or the things that we're going through, and have the authenticity and the transparency with all of it, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm not about showing you just the fluff. I want to show you the real, and the real is what is making the impact. The real, I hope, is what reaches people and resonates, and that is my ultimate goal. I get a lot of comments a lot saying that they love seeing me share things, and it has them brighten up, and I definitely want to do that, and that means the world to me, because if we're not people that lift each other up, then we've got some work to do, because that's the kind of people that we need to be. We need to be the people that lift each other up and share the successes and all of that, but also have the authenticity to share the struggles. And sometimes it is struggling. I have been struggling for a bit now, just on things that we have, specific funnels that we're working on, because again, not a lot of them are easy. I had a deal where we were waiting for the appraisal to come back, and one appraiser came back and said that they couldn't do it. We got another appraiser that came back and said that they could do it, but it was going to be $20,000 short. And it really took kind of partnering up with our agents and seeing what we could do to help the seller and the buyer still meet where we were at, because we were doing down payment assistance already, so we didn't have the funds to be able to give the shortage. And sometimes we've got to do the things that are right? It's not all about making the money. We partnered up with our agents and did this in a route to where I could put the buyer in a position to come up with part of the funds and still get them in. And we ended up taking a loss to save a deal, and it wasn't easy. It was definitely something that we had to lean into, especially whenever we had made all of these changes, and we were making changes multiple times along the way in order to find ways to make this work. But at the end of the day, it was getting the buyer into the home and getting the seller onto their next property, and getting the agents and our partners in a position to where they were confident in moving forward as well. And that's what the true partnership is, right? Because whenever it does get slicey and dicey at the end because of all changes and everything, you don't just wave up your hands and give up. You find a way through and you lean in. And I was thankful that I got to lean in with the partners that I had on that deal. And grateful for the opportunity to, you know, be able to help a buyer who it meant the world to, and it really did mean the world to them, and they were deserving. And it was the funniest story. Whenever I first started having conversations with them, the wife was talking about how her husband wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning every morning to go to work. He does a 2-hour commute every single day to go to work. And this sweet woman wakes up with her husband and makes him coffee and lunch every single day for his coffee on the way to work and his lunch, so he has it there during the day. And I was like, I am failing as a wife. It was definitely kind of eye-opening. And what was funny was actually on one of those days, Richard had woken up to go to Dallas to the Tom Ferry thing, and it's definitely, he kisses me goodbye, and I tell him drive safe, but I'm not waking him up. I'm not waking up with him to get him his cup of coffee. He's going to go to Buc-ee's for that. So I definitely said that she set the bar high. But whenever she told me that, these are hardworking people. These are people that have definitely planned their lives right. And, unfortunately, things didn't go the way they had planned in purchasing this home. But they loved the support that they had, and that's really all we could do was support and lean in, and that's what it's about. It's about leaning in. It's not always going to be the glamorous files. I had another one, unfortunately, the type of deal that it was didn't work out with where we were at on the appraisal and some of the things that came up as far as red flags, and those hurt my soul whenever they don't work out the way that we all intend for them to do. But again, it's not where we wave our hands and say, okay, well, sorry it didn't work out. And we leaned in. We never miscommunication. We never told them, we never stopped communicating. We never stopped trying to find a solution. We never stopped trying to do that. That song that kept on going, I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. Yeah, I'm not a rapper. But it's true. And, sometimes you did get the weight, and it would be easier just to be like, you know what, I can't. But you gotta lean in, and that's who we are. We are the people that lean in, and because we lean in, I'm very thankful that we have the partnerships that we have that appreciate that. And that can hear the full story and kind of, understand and know that we do lean in with them and that we do support them. Just like being able to rework things for this sweet buyer with the lower appraisal. So, it's not always about, the pretty and the glam. It's about having the tenacity. It's about leaning in. It's about showing up. And I was talking to another agent the other day, and she's building her business, and she's sitting here and she's like, it's just so hard, but it's also so rewarding. You got to get through the hard. The hard is what makes it rewarding, right? It's the hard that makes it to the point to you have an impact. And that's what we're supposed to be doing in the things that we do, is making an impact, having an impact on first-time home buyers or multiple home buyers, investment people that are trying to grow their generational wealth. However it is and whatever it is, it's showing up, and that's how you have the impact. And so, like I said, it was a really hard week, and it wasn't just hard for me with these files. Like, I was hearing from multiple people that it has been really hard, and that moon has been out during the day that nobody can see, and that full moon, because it's always those full moons, and then you would see them at night and be like, you know what, I knew it was a full moon, hearing that kind of thing. But so my challenge to you and my ask of you is that if you are going through that, lean into it, because on the other side of it is the deep breath that you're able to take, is the partnership that you're able to have, and just knowing that you can make a difference, you can be impactful, you can do things that that do stand out to other people. And your smile at the end of the day is really still what drives people forward. So remember to smile. Always remember to smile. And know that the easy things are worth celebrating too. For instance, the gentleman that I have closing this afternoon, the other couple that are first-time home buyers and they're young and they've had their parents with them every step of the way. But they've been doing the things that they've been doing and learning and diving in to make sure that they're fully knowledgeable. I'm super proud of them. And that's what I tell all of my clients. You know, I am very humbled and honored to be a part of the journey with you. Thank you so much for giving me that opportunity because they did it. At the end of the day, it's what they did. And I'm just lucky enough and fortunate enough, I don't want to say lucky, but fortunate enough that I have the honor to do it with them. So if y'all have questions, if you want to brainstorm, or if you're in the industry and I can brainstorm with you, let me know. This is what it's about. It's creating that community, and I'm so proud to be a part of this community. And, you know, just like the eye of the tiger, you got to keep on going. It's the eye of the tiger. Yep, I don't know the rest of the words. So, anyways, have an amazing day. The weekend is quickly upon us. For all you mothers out there, y'all know the definition of tenacity. Happy Mother's Day. Be celebrated, be loved, and we'll talk soon.